Don't miss the inaugural All-American Cup Team Tennis Tournament presented by Thomas J. Henry at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, November 11 through 13. The All-American Cup features 10 top men's U.S. players competing on 2 teams, East versus West, each captained by the greatest tennis doubles team of all time, Mike and Bob Bryan. You don't want to miss this. Brother versus brother, East versus West, best versus best. Tickets on sale now at allamericantenniscup.com.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline, and let's welcome in the head coach of the Canyon West Plains Wolves. We're pleased to be joined by Coach Adam Cummings. Coach, how are you?
Appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. How are things out there in Canyon, Texas?
It's a little windy this week, but that's pretty status quo for the Panhandle. So it's been really good. We've had a good off season. Things have been rocking and rolling pretty steady.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I would imagine that a day when it's not windy would be a bigger news item than
You're probably right. Yesterday was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys were, in my opinion, one of the real surprises in Texas high school football last year. First-year varsity program, you roar out to a 7-5 mark, win a darn playoff game, everything. It was a surprise to me. Was it a surprise to you that you guys were so successful in year one?
No, I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, that was part of our goal all along. You know, we met as a group, last spring. And when we first got together and we talked about goals and talked about expectations, and our kids from the get-go, they wanted to be successful year one. They didn't want to wait. Everybody was talking about year 2, year 3. And our kids wanted to be successful right out of the cage, and they did that. And so for us, it really wasn't as much about being a surprise as it was just reaching that expectation.
It wasn't all, it wasn't all sunshine and daffodils at the beginning with an 0-3 start, although admittedly, Bushland, Midland, Greenwood, and Canyon, not exactly pushovers. But was there a moment last season where you kind of saw it all come together and you said, all right, the plan is working and this machine is coming online? Was there a moment last year that strikes you?
I think you started to see a little bit of it in that Paladuro game. Paladuro is a great team, well coached. Eric Mims does a phenomenal job, and we knew that was going to be a tough game, and at their place, hostile environment, and our kids, just kept fighting. We didn't play a clean game. It was sloppy at times, but we found a way to get it done. And I think through the course of that game, you just saw the resiliency of our kids. They just kept coming back and just kept fighting. And then really that next week against Estacada, I think was the first time we really put our best foot forward and really fired on all cylinders, all 3 sides of the ball, and executed at a high level. And we're able to get after Estacada. And I think that was kind of the turning point of our season.
I know that, you were on the staff there at Canyon High for a while, before you got your first job there at head coaching job at Hale Center. And so I imagine going back to Canyon was appealing to you. At the same time, though, it's hard not to look at what you had going at Sundown and think, God, it's hard to walk away from that, especially into a new job like that. What was it about the job there at West Plains that made that the decision for you?
Being a part of Canyon ISD for 10 years and this area is special to us. This is where my wife and I met when I was a coach at Canyon. She was a student at WT. It's where our kids were born, both in Amarillo. And so this is just a special place to our family. And so it was like coming home in a lot of ways. And then just being a part of Canyon ISD and the history of excellence and the standard that they set as a school district, was something that we definitely wanted to be a part of, not just as a coaching family, but also with our kids and the academic side of it. And that was one of the great things about Sundown. I mean, we really have nothing bad to say about Sundown. Sundown was such a blessing to our family, and watched our kids just grow and blossom in that school system as well. And so, it was really more about just coming home than it was anything.
I imagine you're pretty excited about your 2023 bunch as well. One of the good things about starting a program is you get a lot of your guys back in year 2, and one of them was a stinking freshman at the quarterback spot, and Reed Makin, a guy who threw for more than 2,200 yards, ran for another 300 plus yards. As a freshman, was offensive newcomer of the year. Every accolade you can give him. What can you tell us about this young man who certainly seems like a rising star up there in Randall County?
Yeah, he's a special breed. He's just a really good kid, really good leader. Mom and dad have done a good job raising him. He's got great character. He steps into a room and he just kind of commands the room, not because he's trying. That's just his personality. But very humble, very hardworking, just the type of kid you want at your quarterback position. He's going to be the first one to show up. He's going to be the last one to leave. And he's going to put in the time. He watches more film than anybody on our team. He goes to camps. He does all the little things, all the extra things, and it's because he's passionate about it. Nobody has to ask him. Nobody has to encourage him to do it. That's just who he is. And so what he did as a freshman was pretty special, but I'm really excited about the next 3 years with this young man.
On the defensive side, it looks to me that kind of watching your season as it unfolded, it sure looked like a young program kind of finding its way and then something suddenly clicking and it really starting to work. Is it fair to say that you're pretty excited about what your defense may be able to do in year 2 there with the Wolves?
Absolutely. Coach Sutterfield, our defense coordinator, I've known him for a long time. He's got a reputation for building great defenses. Everywhere he's been an integral part of what they've done defensively. And it's no different here. And the staff that we've been able to bring in to surround him, I think is top notch. And so I'm really excited about that side of it. But then when you look at the returning kids we've got, we're going to be able to compete at every position. There's not like a guy that's just, man, that's our dude. That he's penciled in starter, no questions asked. I mean, we're going to have competition at every single position because we've got everybody back essentially. And I think anytime you have competition in practice and competition in games as well, I think it bodes well for your team in terms of developing depth, but also developing the quality of that starter. And so we're really excited about what we can do on defense.
And finally, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about your district. Up there at District 2-4A Division 2, you guys ended up finishing second in that district. Your lone district loss was on the road to a good Seminole squad by a hair, by 10 points. As far as goal setting is concerned, we hear all the time from coaches that priority one is win the district. That's goal number one is win the district.
Right.
What would that mean for you guys? It's still such a young, burgeoning program. What would it mean for you guys to get over the hump and bring home a district championship?
I think it'd be great for our community, our kids, our school. To be able to do that. We've had other programs. Our girls soccer team, won a district title not very long ago. And, it was just really neat to be a part of and watch that whole process unfold and watch them bring that trophy home. And, pretty cool, and that would be equally as special, with our football program. To come as close as we were this last year, like you said, being at Seminole and lose by 10, at their place, and it'd be fun, but at the end of the day, it's not our end goal. It is one of our goals, but it's not our end goal. And so but to be able to check that off the list would sure be fun.
He's Adam Cummings. He's the head coach of the West Plains Wolves out there in Canyon. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on an outstanding first season, and can't wait to see what you guys do in year 2.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on and appreciate all y'all do for Texas high school football.